everybody, welcome to Polymer Clay TV. Today is week 2 of the year of veneer. And what I mean by veneer is we're putting something on the surface of the clay. So it's a surface technique, also known as. So I love the look of the distressed, crackled look. That's one of my favorite looks. However, you know, they really pretty much sell it in just a clear. They used to have other colors in the Distress Crackle paint from Ranger, but this is the clear rock candy. And they used to sell it in other colors, but they discontinued it. So I liked having other colors. So I said, well, why not make my own? So that's exactly what I did. And I'll be showing you that in a second. But here's a few things I made. And these are artist polymer trading coins. And they're about 2.5 inches. And these are just some I made with the different crackles that I've done. And for instance, on this one, I used the Wiggles and Waves Flexi. And this is just a stencil that's flexible. And made this piece. I used this Flexi here for this piece. I used the raindrops for this one. And this one, I used these big flowers. So I used the Flexis on these because they're really easy to clean, which is nice. And you can get really cool designs with them, as you can see. So the trick with Flexis are that you want to make sure that it adheres to the clay while you're doing it, so you don't get the stuff gooping out the sides. So I'll show you that. So let me just move this. I think we'll work with let's see. I think we'll work with the raindrops, or these two probably today, just to show you. Now, we're going to take this crackle medium and we're going to mix some paint, acrylic paint, into it. And I'm going to use the color shift. And I don't know how well you can see this on camera, but this is totally a color shift when you move it. It goes between purple and blue, which is really gorgeous. However, you know, when you want something more and you want it to get that crackle look, you have to mix it. So I have a little cup that I got from the dollar store. I think they're basically shot glasses. And I have a little plastic knitting needle. You can use whatever you want, a bamboo skewer, anything. And I don't, actually, let me just say this. I first conditioned my clay, so I wanted to use some scrap. And this was just some scrap I had laying around, conditioned it. And I went to about a number 4 setting on my pasta machine, but you could do whatever you want. So that's that. Because we're going to be using that after we get this mixed up. So I want to coax a little into the cup. You don't need a ton, because that's probably more than I need. But one of the things I need to tell you is that you need to wipe the sides if you have any left over, because that'll just crack and it just becomes a mess. So make sure to wipe any, you know, extra that's on the side so you don't have a big mess. Word from the wise. And cap, after you do wipe the sides, go ahead and cap it up, you know, because this dries pretty fast. However, I will say this, when you start to add the acrylic paint in there, the dry time is longer. So this is going to take a little longer to dry than if you just use the crackle medium by itself. So, just so you know. All right, let's start with this blue one. What color is this called? Aqua Flash. It's gorgeous. All of these color shifts are really pretty. And these I got at Hobby Lobby. I think it says $8.99 on this one. And I know I used a 40 off coupon. However, they do sell smaller versions at Walmart, I noticed. So the idea is you don't need a lot of paint. It depends on how rich you want your color to be. And you can, you know, I say start off with less and then add to it if you need it to be much brighter, you know, or you want it to be much brighter. But, you know, what I just put in there was just a little drop. And let me just tell you that a little goes a really long way with coloring this. So as you can see, I'm just mixing it up until I get it mixed in and it looks good to me. Now, let me say this. You also will be dealing with bubbles. So you might want to go a little gentler than I am when you're mixing it. But for the sake of doing this a little faster, I wanted to get that mix. Okay, so I'm pulling back in my clay that we're going to use. And let's lay down the raindrops. And okay, so it's on my surface there. What I need to do is I need to make sure that this is attached to the clay. So I want to run my rod across it. And once I have my rod run across a few times, I can use my fingers just to make sure that it's not popping up in any place. So let me just cut around here, so that I can just move this away. Okay, so that looks good. Just making sure, like I said, that there's none sticking up. Now I have this little silicone brayer, and this one's by Art Basics, which is Prima, is the name of the company that makes them. And you can use, you know, anything to scoop this out, but I really like the way that when I use this silicone that I'm able to like pull it across the clay. So I just take some up in my silicone brush, and kind of like you're doing a silk screen. Now you can see that if I do it a little thicker in areas, then, you know, you get a much better coverage. However, if you do it too thick, you may not get all the cracks you want, and it's going to take a lot longer to dry. So you kind of have to come out with this happy medium, you know, not too thick, not too thin, but just enough that you're getting the color saturation you want. And, you know, you just do it until you're happy. And that used up most of my, you know, the amount that I put in there. So you want to definitely wipe down and wash off your silicone brush, and, you know, so that you don't have any stuff hanging on there. And then you can pull this up, and there you have your raindrops. Look how pretty that is. Now, this paint is translucent, so it gives it a really unique look. And that's what I like about using this color shift. Now this is going to take time to dry, obviously, but I do have the other ones that are dry. But let me just point this out to you. There's bubbles in there, and it happens, and I haven't found a way to make sure there isn't any bubbles, but you can certainly come back and poke them out with a needle tool or any kind of little tool. But when it starts to dry and crack, it doesn't really make a difference. But if there happens to be a really big one that's annoying you, go ahead and pop it. But I really like the look of it anyways, you know, it kind of just adds a little, you know, as long as it's not too big. And although it's, you know, it's raindrops, so having the bubble in it's kind of cool. So anyway, so this would just dry, and actually what I like to do is I like to cut my piece out before it's completely dry. Because once it's dry, it becomes a little more brittle. So I have, let's go ahead and do it now. Sorry about that. You want to be careful since you're doing this while it's wet, obviously. Make sure that you... That's okay. That's my extras. Make sure you get a good cut on it. And then you can pull this away and let this dry too. And you'll have that to use and experiment. And that's kind of what I did. So I'm not going to touch this too much here. I'm going to leave it alone. But look at how pretty that is. And there wasn't much to it, you know. It's just a matter of adding, you know, color to... Now you see, I did mess it up a little right there. But I can go back and add more paint to that too. You can use a brush. I could put a little on the tip here if I wanted to kind of dot that back in there. So there are all kinds of things you can do to create really cool veneer. Just try not to mess it up like I did. Alright, so let me just show you this one. Okay. Now this one's multicolored. So what I did was I created the blue using this stencil here. You can kind of see how I went in there. And I did it with the blue paint. And then I came back and I used my knitting needle and dropped a little gold in there. And the gold was also mixed with the Crackle paint. So I used this golden paint this Golden Brand iridescent gold paint. Mix it up exactly how you saw me do with the blue. But then I kind of pinpointed where I wanted it and dropped it in the middle, so the whole thing crackled and got a really cool look. So you can mix colors, you can just, you know, do it up any way you want. And I was thinking, how cool would it be to put like some cabochons in the middle too, if you wanted to add some cabochons. You know, it's really a unique look that you can come up with these things, you know, like random, like maybe every other one would be really cute. But I'm gonna continue on with these polymer trading coins, and I will, if you come on over to the blog at Polymer Clay TV, I'll have some pictures there for you to check out. I did make a couple other ones that you know, I'm always playing. That's the thing with me. You guys know that about me. Here's one that I was doing at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And what I did here was I used the Arrow Flexi. And I mixed two colors. I mixed this green color shift. It's green flash. Yeah, that's this one. And I mixed that with the blue so that I could get, you know, more of a, you know, two-tone type of thing. So really, I mean, the sky's the limit. And then I added some of the drops, the raindrops. I don't even know if you can see from this angle, but it's translucent. It looks glass-like. It looks very glass-like when it dries, which really makes, you know, for really interesting pieces. And here's the raindrop that I did, and I added some of the cabochons around there, and I used one of the cutters to cut this out, the hole out, so that the raindrops come through. And I'm thinking what I want to do with this one is add some resin. That would be really cool with some resin. Oops, I'm losing my cabs here. But you get the gist. I think it's a really fun technique and has lots and lots of possibilities. Change up the colors. You don't have to use these color shifts. But I'll tell you what, they really do make a nice look. So, hope you'll give it a try. And starting in February, we'll be trading these polymer trading coins. We have a book coming out on them. And you can check the book out actually in our shop at createalong.com and see more about it. All right, so thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time.